P6 physics parallel circuits. Okay, we discussed earlier about series circuits, and we've seen that they go in one loop. Now the difference between series and parallel circuits is that parallel circuits will have several loops formed. Now this diagram is not the best one because it looks like we have only one loop. If I'm going to introduce it in a circuit, it will make much more sense. So here it is. I have current going from the positive towards the negative. Now the difference from the series circuit is here the current will split at that point. We're gonna come back at that point. So it's going to move up to go to the first one. It's going to move down to go to the second one also. So that'll be the first resistor R1, and then this one is R2, and then that is the voltage. Now let's consider that the voltage is 12 volts. Let's say R1 is 3 ohms and R2 is 5 ohms. Okay, so here it is. The first one, the second one, the current is coming in, and then the current is going back here. So for example, if I have 3 amps here, I'm going to have 3 amps coming out, but inside the situation changes a little bit. Now, how do I calculate the resistance in this series? Well, the overall resistance of the circuit will be 1 over RP, RP for R. Resistance in parallel is going to be R 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. Remember, in series there was R1 plus R2. So we see if in series the overall resistance increases, well, here it's obvious that if I have this situation with the fraction line, the overall resistance can only decrease. Now let's calculate this. This will be 1 over 3 plus 1 over 5. 3 for the first one, 5 for the second one. Is going to be, well, I'm going to get 5, I'm going to get 3 there. 5 plus 3 over 15 is equal 8 over 15. Sorry, so I will have 1 over RP equals 8 over 15. Well, let me flip this equation. I want to solve for RP. RP over 1 equals 15 over 8 equals 1.9 ohms. So this is the overall resistance, 1.9 ohms. Or if I compare this to R1, which is 3 ohms, or to R2, which is 5 ohms, it's obvious that this resistance is decreasing. Okay, the voltage from the source is going to be the same voltage in each one of them. Think about the way we calculate. When we solve voltages in a circuit, we know that, for example, if I have to look for the voltage in a circuit, I'm going to introduce the voltmeter in parallel. So here the voltmeter is in parallel, so it's normal that they will get the same voltage. So V equals V1 plus equals V2 equals 12 volts. Okay, so I have a resistance RP equals 1.9 ohms. RP equals 1.9 ohms, and I have voltage is equals 12 volts. Let me calculate the current that's going through the circuit. Current equals V from the source over RP. So it's going to be 12 over 1.9 is going to be 6.3 amps, which is a lot of current. So if there is a lot of current drawn in a circuit, this means that this battery will be depleted. It will lose energy pretty fast. Okay, so I have 6.3 amps of current. Now let me calculate the current in the first and in the second one. So I have, at this point there are 6.3 amps, and at that point they're coming out 6.3 amps, and here for example it's going to be 6.3 amps, and there they're going to be 6.3 amps. But inside this loop, this loop, the situation changes. Now let's see how much current gets the first one. Well, let's use Ohm's law. Current 1 equals V over R1, and current 2 equals V over R2. I use V because V equals V1 equals V2, so they're all the same. So it's going to be 12 volts over, well, R1 is 3 ohms. That makes it 4 amps. And then I2 is going to be 12 volts over 5 ohms, which is 5.4 amps. Now, if I add this together, it's going to give me 6.4 amps, which is slightly higher than the 6.3 amps we found there. But it's just, it has to do with the way when we divided 12 by 1.9, we might have rounded it a bit towards 6.3 rather than towards 6.4. But we can still see what's happening here. The current is going to be adding up equal I1 plus I2. So here there are 6.3 amps going out. That means I have 4 amps going in the first loop, and then I have 2.3 amps going in the second loop. So the currents, you add them up, the voltage is the same. V equals V1 equals V2 equals 12 volts, and then RP is decreasing, is going to be reduced.